Seminoles Nation, what's going on? We are at Voice of College Football Live, Florida State. This is episode 2 of our live show with me and my man Jacob Smith. How you doing, man? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, man. I mean, can't really say it's been too happy. I mean, the transfer portal for Florida State's been kind of a mess, but, other than that, I can't really complain. Family's been good. Friends have been good, but off to a rough start really for Florida State in this transfer portal window.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about last week, that's just the cost of doing bad business. And in this case, bad business is losing football games. So, in this day and age with the clown of college football, when you don't win, guys are going to go elsewhere. And with the NIL and all that stuff, it's just a different climate. So this is the price you pay, unfortunately. Excuse me. But we do have quite a bit of transfer portal news today as far as additions to the roster. It was a very, very busy day as far as that goes. Actually, 5 guys committed to Florida State today. And, of course, the first one that hit early in the morning was the quarterback Ashton Daniels, the Auburn transfer, which a lot of people did not want him to pick Florida State. A lot of people were more on the DJ Lagway or maybe the Anthony Colandrea train. I know that Lagway is visiting Baylor next, and I think that I saw that Colandrea committed to Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. So Ashton Daniels transferred from Auburn. He has 1 year of eligibility left. He played 3 years at Stanford before he went to Auburn, threw for just under 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, but also had 20 interceptions. And that's the thing about him that kind of makes me kind of worry. But he did have 1,117 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. So he's a dual threat, which, of course, Gus Malzahn is very, very keen to do with quarterback for his system. As far as this year with Auburn, remember, he started as the backup and ended up playing in 4 games, had 3 starts, 797 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks in those 4 games. So what are you feeling about the Ashton Daniels edition?
Yeah, it feels like a very specific kind of low ceiling bridge move, if that makes sense. I mean, it's almost suggesting the staff doesn't trust the younger development curve, like maybe with regards to like Kevin Sperry or even Jaden O'Neal, to be ready for week 1. I mean, is the addition of a journeyman like Daniels an admission that the staff has failed to develop a homegrown successor during the last 2 down years? And I mean, it just kind of feels like we're now like stuck in this cycle of renting average veteran quarterbacks just to kind of survive and float throughout the season. I mean, I don't know, man. I had not seen Ashton play at all last year. I'll admit it, because I'm just not a big Auburn fan. But
Same.
The kind of sentiment I've been reading online is that he's mid at best. But what do you think, man? I mean, 3 years of transfer portal quarterbacks. I mean, what happened to developing them from the ground up from high school, man?
Yeah, and see, that's why I think a lot of the guys who are in the portal probably chose to go elsewhere, because they see that the development as far as the quarterback goes, as far as quarterbacks go at Florida State, has been very bad. And also the last 2 transfer quarterbacks here, BJ Underlay and Tom Castellanos, just weren't it. Castellanos was a little better than BJ, but it's been 2 straight misses. And like you said, it does look like a bridge move. I was all on the Kevin Sperry, Jaden O'Neal battling out for starting supremacy this year. I think those guys have much higher upside than anything Daniels has done in his college career. And it also makes me think, does this make something like a guy like Kevin Sperry maybe want to transfer? Because you know what I mean? Because it's like, you would think that a guy that's going to his second year that had that, the ceiling that he has, and that, showed a little something in the spot that he did play this year. He's thinking that, he's in line for QB1, and they announced that they are bringing Daniels in to be the quarterback one. Of course, things can change and all that, but yeah, this was a head scratcher. I really thought it was going to be Lagway, because when he left, he talked about how he was on cloud 9 with the Cam Newton comparisons. We went on his visit and everything. So I was more on that train. I mean, of course, Lagway's not perfect. He had some turnover issues and also injuries. He dealt with several injuries in his first 2 years. Calf, hamstring, shoulder, and stuff like that. He has some things to work on, but I would have been more comfortable with a Lagway addition than Ashton Daniels. Now, of course, he's here now. So now that he's here, of course, you want him to, reach whatever, ceiling he can and the max he can. But I just didn't, this one kind of, it kind of made me, raise my eyebrow a little bit because, last night, the reports were coming out that, he was getting, crystal ball predictions to go there, and I was just shocked. And I'm like, oh man, because I thought maybe we were going to see something for Lagway, after he, was very, very pleased with his visit. But it looks like it might be Baylor or might be somebody else there. But I was kind of hoping it would be. But this is nothing against the kid. Now that he's here, we want him to rock out and see. We want him to change our mind. We want him to, if he does win the starting job, we want him to, prove us wrong because he's a Seminole now. Regardless of what you did anywhere else, once you're here, we want you to succeed. So, so I hope, if he sees anything on him, that he doesn't take it too personal because it's not personal. It's just, not at all. But that was I just didn't see that one happening. But even when he had scheduled his visit, he knew it was coming. I just thought, that's just them doing their due diligence and trying to get as many guys in as they can. But then it was like, okay, not only did visit go well, but then he was getting multiple petitions to come, and I was like, well, it was from different sites. It wasn't just one; it was different sites saying, yeah, we think he's going there. So once you see that, it's very rarely that it. I mean, of course, it does change sometimes, but when you get multiple different sites saying that guy's going there, more than likely he is. So yeah, that one was my head scratcher, but he's here now, and let's just hope he rocks out, man.
That's all the best we can hope for is we have like a Heisman contender and, we go, 16-0. That's really the best thing we can hope
for. Right.
But, in completely the other side of the ball, the defense is also struggling as well. I mean, our little junior's now gone. I mean, he was arguably our most vocal leader, and, him, leaving, declaring for the draft, withdrawing, and then deciding to go to the transfer portal. I mean, that feels a little personal to me. I don't know about you, but does that kind of signal that the internal buy-in has actually collapsed? And are we deluding ourselves by thinking these incoming transfers are joining a stable ecosystem rather than a sinking ship? Because I don't know, man, going from the draft to withdrawing from it to the transfer portal, like I've never heard of that in any player at any college ever.
Yeah, I mean, because once he withdrew and he had to delete his post on social media that he was going to the draft. I mean, everybody in the fan base is like, oh well. I mean, it seems like he's coming back. I mean, even Tony White, the defensive coordinator, put out a tweet that kind of hinted at that. So we were really getting geared up for that. But then when I got the notification and I saw his name, I was like, oh, okay, he came back. And I said, oh, it's his transfer report. I said, oh wow, like he is coming back. But he's going to be elsewhere next year. Yeah, I mean, we're, we cover the team. We watch Florida State. So, we've all had, our thoughts about, how things are being run on Norvell, if the buy-in is really there. And I think this is one of those situations where a guy like that, who's looked at as a leader on the defense, decides to withdraw from the league, but doesn't decide to come back here. After he seemed to be, so committed to what they were doing, it does raise some questions. And like I said, just so many guys that have already left anyway. So yeah, man, Earl, Little Jr., I was really hoping because that would have made three defensive backs coming back with Ashton Barker and Jabril Rawls. So I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I do see that as a loss. I know some people were like, he had tackling issues, which was true, but. He was one of your better players. He led the team in tackles and stuff like that. He's a big hitter. I had issues with his tackling too, especially in the Virginia game, the first game we lost this year. So he wasn't a perfect player or nothing like that. But I just thought he was coming back. So yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder what's going on there as far as the buy-in with what Norvell and the rest of the staff is doing.
Absolutely. And I mean, the special teams too. I mean, we talked about kind of offense and defense, but special teams is also struggling. I mean, we lost Mac Chiamento, our punter, to Texas, and
Mm-hmm.
John Papuchis, if I recall correctly, he's also gone, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Norvell is already under massive pressure to win like immediately in 2026, I feel, because you go 2-10 and then 5-7. I mean, where is the bar for this year? I mean, are we shooting for 500? Are we shooting for 8 wins? It's not super clear, and completely resetting the special teams unit, it feels like a catastrophe waiting to happen. But I mean, could it be like allowing for modernization of a unit that wasn't exactly super elite last year, or is this just some kind of, I don't know, is this just a kind of a normality at this point, like with the transfer portal being as crazy as it is? I mean, what do you think, man? It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you see all the different areas of the team that are being affected. It just makes it really, really, really makes you question everything that's going on. I mean, Mike Norvell even being retained after the last 2 years, made a lot of people raise their eyebrows when they announced before the season was over that they were still committed to him in 2026. I mean, that already raised a lot of eyebrows. But I said guys are leaving left and right. I mean, just yesterday the Desir twins, Matt Mandrew and Dell, they both declared for the portal, and that was that rocked the entire Twitter scene yesterday. That was a big one, because you would think with how Mandrell was a freshman All-American and even his brother showed some good things, that they would have been two of the top priorities as far as retention. But they were here for 1 year. They decided to leave, so it's a lot going on, man. But we did have 2 offensive linemen commit today. Purdue transfer Braden Joyner, and also Bowling Green Nate. I'm missing his name. Past, or how do you say his name? Past he has a lot of experience, 2,100 snaps, and he's done it at every position on the offensive line except center. He has 726 at right guard, 651 at left guard, 567 at right tackle, and 183 at left tackle. So this is a very versatile guy. He has 1 year of eligibility left. And with Joyner, he played 10 games at left guard for Auburn in 24 and had 12 starts at center for Purdue. So I guess the question would be, is he going to challenge Sandman, for the starting center role? Or is he going to play guard? But what do you think about the 2 O-line additions?
Yeah, I mean, Luke Petitbon, he came in from Wake Forest, and he was an ACC, all ACC kind of guy. So this the guy from Bowling Green, Nate Pabst, I mean, he strikes me as the kind of guy who could be the next Luke Petitbon, if you will. And I mean, Braden Joyner from Purdue, love to see that. I mean, I will never complain about a team improving the offensive line. 6'1", 330. I mean, he's pretty good. So
yeah,
again, can't really complain about that. But with all the other losses, I mean, there's still 7-8 months until the first game kicks off, so they have plenty of time to figure out the holes that they still have to fill and such. But I think a big one that we haven't touched on yet is that Texas running back that just committed today.
Yeah. Trey Wizard from Texas. I think he's got a couple years eligibility left. Led Texas in rushing this year with just under 600. Actually had nearly 1,100 yards in a 2024. So he's been a productive guy, on the college level. Played in the SEC, played against some really good competition. So getting him in here, getting him with Usman Cromar and Samuel Singleton Jr., it gives you a lot of hope for the running back room next year. I think that's one of the few positions that there is some upside, a lot, along with receiver and now, cornerback with some of the, of course, Ross coming back and some of the young guys they have, like, Chauncey Kennan, the blue chipper from this year, and, Shamar Arnox from last year. Darius Jones is coming back. So, but yeah, how much have you watched Wesner, and how you think he's going to fit into this rotation?
Again, with the I have not seen a single snap of his, but I mean, 24/7 Sports is saying he's a 4-star transfer prospect. I'm sorry, a 3-star transfer prospect. But I mean, I can't complain about a guy who's coming from Texas who has 9 career rushing touchdowns, about 457 receiving yards, 1,700 rushing yards, which is pretty good. So again, I really can't complain about this pickup from them. And for those unaware, we're talking about Quintrevion Wesner from Texas. I don't believe I mentioned his name.
AKA Trey. I think he goes by Trey, but yes, that is his full name.
Got you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, he could be kind of the next Cam Davis potentially. He could be the next, perhaps even Tommy Castellanos, if you will. I mean, Castellanos was a rushing quarterback. I mean, we could see kind of maybe the same or even better production from Trey.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the running back room is one that I'm. I have a lot of high hopes for next year. I think Usman Cromar, he only scratched the surface of what he was going to be last year. But this guy seems like he has a little bit of burst to him. He has some all-purpose ability. So let's just hope that he can come in here and do some things in 26. Pretty sure he'll be competing to start. So I say he has more skins on the wall than any of the other guys. So he probably has the leg up as far as that's concerned. But that's going to be an interesting battle there. And we also got a veteran tight end, Desario Riles from East Carolina, who has 1 year of eligibility left. Not real big, not a lot of production, only 475 yards and 4 touchdowns, but 362 came this year. He does have 37 games of experience. I know he was used a lot as a blocker. He didn't have the best PFF grades, but this isn't somebody that's coming in that you're looking to have any explosion or a big production. I think this is just more to fill out the room. You did get Landon Thomas back, who ended up because that was a loss that people were really taking hard. But now that he came back, he has a lot of potential to be one of those guys at tight end. So this is more of a filler to fill out the room. I say Landon would definitely have the leg up, but I just feel like that was a guy that had a lot of experience and somebody that they want to bring in for depth.
Oh, absolutely. And with Landon Thomas departed, correct? Right? Landon Thomas is gone as well.
No, Landon Thomas was gone, but he ended up coming back. Yeah.
Well, that's at least a good thing we got going on. But in addition to the tight end room, I think that's going to be kind of maybe a focal point of this new offense led by whoever. Like it's going to be basically an entirely different team maybe compared to 2025 and even 2024. So one other prospect that I kind of had in mind was Nehemiah Chandler from South Alabama.
Yes.
Cornerback originally from Crawfordville, so kind of a local to Tallahassee, if you will. 3 stars coming out of originally South Alabama, but he also played at Appalachian State and Georgia Tech. So, I've been very high, as I said on the on our last show about I forget his name. The big 4-star cornerback that we signed. I forget his name, but I feel like Chauncey Kennan. Yes, I feel like Chandler could be kind of the veteran, if you will, on this in this defensive back room, and especially be kind of like a mentor to Chauncey Kennan, which that could be something really special to watch, I feel.
Yeah, man. With Chandler coming in, he has experience. A lot of people were down on him because of where he played, but then a lot of people went back and watched film, and then they put out some tweets about, oh no, I mean, and I always tell people, don't look at the school necessarily, just watch the kid play. I mean, the kid has talent. So with him and Rawls in the room, a guy like Darius Jones, veterans, because Rawls is going to have one of those starting spots for sure. So I think Quindarius, Shamar, Chauncey, Chandler, they're all going to be competing for who starts opposite Rawls. So, but I really like this that pickup. I think it's actually a sleeper addition for Florida State in the portal.
Absolutely, yeah. And do we have a little bit of time to talk about maybe some basketball? I mean, men's basketball coming off a tough loss to Duke a couple days ago. Very
I
close
was
one too. It
hoping
was
y'all would win that game, especially as a North Carolina basketball fan. I was checking the score repeat, like, please beat these guys.
no, but Florida State did fall 91 to 87. I mean, that's a really good Q1 loss. I'll say that. That's a Q1 loss right there. So I can't be too mad about it. But the Seminoles do fall to 7-8 on the season. It's I'm still on the Luke Locke train. I think that he's still kind of our guy, but 7-8. There are some games that we probably should have won, like the Dayton game, and maybe even Texas A&M if you were to consider that. But Florida State basketball, it's also just kind of in a middling spot as well on the women's side as well, because they're 5-11 on the women's side, and Tanaya Latson leaving has kind of nuked the team's offensive identity. So, do you think that this season for basketball fans, do you think it's more rebuilding on both sides, or is it about establishing kind of the identity of this new look offense for Florida State?
Well, as far as the men's side, like I say, there's a first year coach there.
Yep.
So I think it's probably a little bit of both. Like, just trying to find the identity, and like you're turning the page into a new era. So you have to have a little bit of leeway. That's the only thing about a first year coach that they get a little bit of string and all that. But to see the way they fought against one of the best teams in the country, gives you a lot of hope for where they'll be maybe at the end of the season. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to end up getting them an NCAA, berth or anything, or in the tournament, but they showed that they can play with one of the best teams. So that's a good building block, because that's for a team with a new coach and a new system, to battle like that, against a team that's that talented. And trust me, I hate calling them talented because I'm a North Carolina fan, but I mean, we keep it real here. I just think that, that's just like you said, that's a Q1 loss. If they are, borderline when it's time to, pick teams and all that, they're going to remember how they competed against Duke. All the Florida State basketball fans, I just wouldn't be too down on anything that happens this year on the men's or the women's side, especially the men's, because I mean, it takes a while to establish culture, establish a system, get guys acclimated, and repetition is the biggest teacher. The more they're out there playing together, and a game like that instills confidence, even though they didn't win. I'm not a big moral victory guy, but that is one of the ones that you can take, and it can kind of carry you a little bit.
Absolutely. We are a soccer school. I will give them that, though. So definitely. Did you have any other major things you wanted to talk about, man? I know you had.
They also had two visits as far as the portal came came just a couple hours ago. USC linebacker, I hope I'm not butcher his name, Matei Tagoyai. I think that's how you say his name. He was a freshman this year. Didn't play a whole lot. He appeared in 8 games, had 4 tackles and 1 forced fumble. But he's very rangy. And he's very long. He's longer. He's 6'4". If I'm not mistaken, 240 pounds or something like that. So he came in for a visit. And also Noah Carter, the edge from Alabama, who he's played in 14 games, but 11 of them came this year. I think 88 of his 89 snaps came this year. He was used as a situational pass rusher due to some injuries that Alabama had. So, I'm skipping over one. Rylan Kennedy, the edge from Texas A&M, also committed. He's played 37 games, 40 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5.5, TFLs. So he's another piece of the edge room. He said, we have to get better in the trenches. That's very big, especially if you're trying to get back to prominence. So he was another addition. So you can tell that they're really trying to hit these trenches with these 2 additions on the offensive line, another on the defensive, and having another one come in for a visit today. So it'll be interesting to see how they go forward, because there's 10 days left in the portal. 16th is when it ends. You know, so we will see how that goes. But yeah, that's pretty much basically it, man. Just all the guys that came in and the visits today.
Not so fast, my friend. I do have some kind of breaking transfer portal news. Florida State wide receiver LaWayne McCoy is entering the transfer portal. His agency tells On3 Sports' Hayes Fawcett totaled 27 receptions for 396 yards and 3 touchdowns this season, and he will have 2 years of eligibility left. I mean, just yet another loss, man. It's brutal out here.
Yeah, that was another guy that was looked at as, oh man, LaWayne McCoy. That hurts. A lot of potential there. He was thought to be, part of this, this wide receiver rotation next year. Like I said, they have several, blue chip guys coming in. Hopefully you retain Danzy and stuff like that. Oh man, that's definitely gonna hurt right there. Ugh. I hate to end the show with seeing that LaWayne's gone. Wow. That sucks.
Hopefully next week we'll have a little bit better news to kind of bring out a brutal week for Florida State, man. I mean, brutal
2 weeks.
2 weeks, exactly, yeah. But you had a good New Year's, man. I hope your New Year's has been well, and everybody, I hope your New Year's has been well as well.
For sure.
Would you like to end us off, good sir?
Yes. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, this is our second show together with this new live show coming on every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. It will be me and Jacob. What's going on, Jackson? How you doing? I see my mom actually popped in here and said hello. How you doing, Mom? I see William McMillan said, "What is Earl going to do?" Well, he's in the portal, so he's definitely not going to be here. It's just a matter of what school he's going to end up at. I see Mike saying, "What's up, fellas?" And No Nation Go knows what's going on, man. I see my man Jackson Johnson's in here. What's up, Jackson? Over there at the Alabama channel. So yeah, man, just y'all, keep tuning in every Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central while we, get this show rolling and everything, and we keep building our rapport and keep doing things. Of course, we'll keep, getting better at this, and hopefully, in the coming weeks, we'll start having some happier news because we have the second national signing. Part of the national signing day coming next month, in February. So hopefully we can add some more guys to the 32, I believe it was, that we signed back in December. But that will do it for this edition. So everybody take care. No Nation. I know it's Rocky Mountains right now. It's a rocky time right now. A lot of guys are leaving. But hey, the only thing we can do is hope for the best, and hopefully they, get this roster filled out, bring in some more quality guys in the portal. You wish you didn't have to rely on the portal so much, which we talked about. It's hurting. As much as I like the portal, I think it's hurting development, and that's something that Florida State has not done too well, which is develop guys. So hopefully they can turn this development thing around, so they don't have to worry about the portal so much. But yeah, until next time, guys. Everybody stay safe. And we will see you guys next week. Salute.
Have a good night, y'all.